September 13th. I don't want to because boys don't write poetry. Girls do. September 21st. I tried. Can't do it. Brain's empty. September 27th. I don't understand the poem about the red wheelbarrow and the white chickens and why so much depends upon them. If that is a poem about the red wheelbarrow and the white chickens, then any words can be a poem. You've just got to make short lines. Do you promise not to read it out loud? Do you promise not to put it on the board? Okay, here it is, but I don't like it. So much depends upon the blue car, splattered with mud, speeding down the road. October 10th. What do you mean? Why does so much depend upon the blue car? You didn't say that before I had to tell why. That wheelbarrow guy didn't tell why. October 17th. What was up with the Snowy Woods poem you read today? Why doesn't the person just keep going if he's got so many miles to go before he sleeps? And why do I have to tell more about the blue car splattered with mud speeding down the road? I don't want to write about that blue car that had miles to go before it slept, so many miles to go in such a hurry. October 24th. I'm sorry to say I did not really understand the Tiger Tiger Burning Bright poem, but at least it sounded good in my ears. Here's the blue car with tiger sounds. Blue car, shining bright in the darkness of the night. Who could see you speeding by like a comet in the sky? I could see you in the night, blue car, shining bright. I could see you speeding by like a comet in the sky. Some of the tiger sounds are still in my ears, like drums, beat, beat, beating. October 31st. Yes, you can put the two blue car poems on the board, but only if you don't put my name on them. Why doesn't he want his name on them?
Because he thinks that poems for girls.
Yes, poetry's for girls. November 6th. They look nice typed up like that on blue paper on a yellow board, but I still don't want you to tell anyone who wrote them, okay? And what does anonymous mean anyway? Is it good? November 9th. I don't have any pets, so I can't write about one. And especially, I can't write a poem about one. November 15th. Yes, I used to have a pet. I don't want to write about it. You're going to ask me why not, right? November 22nd. Pretend I still have that pet. Can't I make up a pet? A different one? Like a tiger or a hamster or a goldfish, turtle, snail, worm, flea? November 29th. I like those small poems we read today. They're really small. And when they're small like that, I can read a whole bunch in a short time. And then, in your head, all the pictures are of small things from all the small poems. I liked how the kitten leapt in the cat poem, and how you could see the long head of the horse in the horse poem. And I especially liked the dog in the dog poem, because that's just how my yellow dog used to lie down, with his tongue all limp and his chin between his paws, and how he'd sometimes chomp at a fly and then sleep in his loose skin, just like that poet Miss Valerie Worth says in her Small Dog poem. December 4th. Why do you want to type up what I wrote about reading the small poems? It's not a poem, is it? I guess you can put it on the board if you want to, but don't put my name on it in case other people think that it's not a poem. December 13th. I guess it does look like a poem when you see it typed up like that, but I think maybe it would be better if there was more space between the lines, like how I wrote it the first time. I like the picture of the yellow dog you put up beside it, but that's not how my yellow dog looked. January 10th. I really did not get the pasture poem you read today. I mean, somebody's going out to the pasture to clean the spring and to get the little tottery calf while he's out there. And he isn't going to be gone long. And he wants you, who is you, to come along too. I mean, really? And you said that Mr. Robert Frost, who wrote about the pasture, was also the one who wrote about the snowy woods and the miles to go before he sleeps. Well, I think Mr. Robert Frost has a little too much time on his hands. January 17th. Remember the wheelbarrow poem you read in the first week of school? Maybe the wheelbarrow poet was just making a picture with words, and someone else, like maybe his teacher, typed it up, and then people thought it was a poem because it looked like one when you typed it up like that. And maybe that's the same thing that happened with Mr. Robert Frost. Maybe he was just making pictures with words about the snowy woods and the pasture and his teacher. And then they typed them up and they looked like poems, so people thought that they were poems. Like how you did with the blue car things and reading the small poems thing on the board. Typed up like that, they look like poems. And the other kids are looking at them and they think they really are poems. And they're all saying, who wrote that? January 24th. We were going for a drive and my father said, we won't be long, you come too. And so I went, and we drove and drove until we stopped at a red brick building with a sign in blue letters, Animal Protection Shelter. And inside we walked down a long cement path, past cages with all kinds of dogs, big and small, fat and skinny, some of them hiding in the corner, but most of them barking and jumping up against the wire cage as we walked past, as if they were saying, me, choose me, I'm the best one. And that's when we saw the yellow dog, standing against the cage with its paws curled around the wire and its long red tongue hanging out, and his big black eyes looking a little sad, and his long tail wagging, as if he were saying, me, choose me. And we did. We chose him. And in the car, he put his head against my chest and wrapped his paws around my arm, as if he were saying, thank you. And the other dogs in the cages get killed dead if nobody chooses them. January 31st. Yes, you can type up what I wrote about my yellow dog, but leave off the part about the other dogs getting killed because that's too sad. And don't put my name on it, please. And maybe it would look good on yellow paper. And maybe the title should be You Come Too. February 7th. Yes, it looks good on yellow paper, but you forgot, again, to leave more space between the lines like I did when I wrote it. That's okay though. February 15th. I like that poem you read today about street music in the city. My street is not in the middle of the city, so it doesn't have that loud music of horns and trucks, clash, flash, screech. My street is on the edge of the city. And it has quiet music most of the time. Wisp, meow, swish. My street is a thin one, with houses on both sides, and my house is the white one with the red door. There's not too much traffic on my street, not like in the middle of a city. We play in the yards and sometimes in the street, but only if a grown-up or other big kids are out there too. And they will shout, car, if they see a car coming down the street. At both ends of our street are yellow signs that say, caution, children at play. But sometimes the cars pay no attention and speed down the road as if they are in a big hurry with many miles to go before they sleep. February 21st. That was so great, those poems you showed us about the words that make a shape of the thing the poem is about. I like the one about an apple that was shaped like an apple, and the one about a house that was shaped like a house. My brain was popping when I looked at those poems. I never knew a poet person could do that funny kind of thing. February 26. I tried one of those poems that looks like what it's about. My Yellow Dog by Jack. It's not really something you can read, so just have a look. March 1st. Yes, you can type up the Yellow Dog poem that looks like a dog, but this time keep the spaces exactly the same, and maybe it would look really, really good on yellow paper. And maybe you could put my name in it, but only if you want to, only if you think it looks good enough. March 7th. I was a little embarrassed when people said things to me like, "Neat poem, Jack," and "How did you think of it, Jack?" And I really, really like the one you put up about the tree that's shaped like a tree. Not a fake looking tree, but a real tree with straggly branches. But I want to know, who is the anonymous poet in our class who wrote that? And why didn't he or she want to put his or her name on it? Was it like me when I didn't think my words were poems? Maybe you will tell the anonymous tree poet that his or her tree poem is really a poem. Really, really, a really good poem too. March 14th. That was the best poem you read yesterday by Mr. Walter Dean Myers. The best poem ever. I'm really sorry I took the book home without asking. I only got one spot on it. That's why the page is torn. I tried to get the spot out. I copied that best poem and hung it on my bedroom wall, right over my bed, where I can see it when I'm lying down. Maybe you could copy it too and hang it on the wall in our class, where we can see it, when we're sitting at our desks doing our stuff. I sure like that poem by Mr. Walter Dean Myers called Love That Boy. Because of two reasons. I liked it. One, because my dad calls me in the morning just like that. He calls me, "Hey there, son." And also because I had my yellow dog, loved that dog, and I would call him like this. I'd say, "Hey there, Sky." His name was Sky. We'll have to leave it there.